rotate. Push, swing, pull, catch, rotate across. Push, swing, pull, catch, rotate across. Push, swing, pull, catch. We're gonna add in a press because our goal is to take the clean and turn it into a clean and press, just one that goes in a weird direction. Kettlebells allow you to work on something that you don't really work on much in the gym: endurance weightlifting. Endurance weightlifting in all 6 directions that the human body moves. In the gym, you tend to work on a machine, you tend to move in straight lines. With kettlebells, you tend to move in curved lines or in circles, but they don't have to be straight up and down like they are in the gym. Lunges, squats, overhead press, bench press, all one plane of movement. They can rotate, and they can rotate the spine, the hips, the knees in ways that you simply just don't do in the gym. The exercise we're gonna talk about today is the single arm kettlebell outside circle combined with a press. This exercise is not a basic exercise. This exercise is normally done after people complete a whole cycle of normal front to back clean and press training. So think gentlemen are working up to 5 sets of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 with 32 kilogram, and ladies will work up with, depending on frame size, it could be that with a 16 or a 20 kilogram. Then in order to not spend money on even heavier weights, because heavy kettlebells are super expensive, you start to change the direction that you're moving the kettlebell, and you go back to a lightweight and you start working on different directions and rebuild over time. Think about an outside circle being in the family of kettlebell clean. Kettlebell cleans are fundamental exercises, just like barbell cleans are fundamental, dumbbell cleans are fundamental, heavy club cleans are fundamental. Let's talk about a clean first, because how you catch is important. If you don't do the catch well, then don't do inside or outside circles with a kettlebell. They will beat you up and you will not want to train anymore. A normal clean kettlebell is between the feet, step back 12 to 18 inches. I'm gonna rotate that handle so that when we set up, thumb points down, hike the weight back, snap your hips, and bring it up. This is the important part right here, is how you catch. It needs to be pinky up, wrist bone, elbow in a straight line. A kettlebell clean catch is different from a barbell, it's different from a dumbbell. You notice the handle is down at this 45-degree angle. It is different than, let's say, a barbell. You have to move your body around a barbell. Dumbbell, because of its central loaded mass, sits in your hand differently. Kettlebell allows you to have what you might call a fighter's lineup, a punching wrist. You don't punch like that, you tend to break your wrist. You punch with a flat line. When we do the clean, we push back, we snap our hips, we snap up. Kettlebell clean is fundamental. You should build up to the point where you can do cleans nonstop, let's say 20 a minute for at least 10 minutes. 200 nonstop, 24K, absolute bare minimum. After that, we would like you to get to your clean and press. Think 13 per minute for 10 minutes minimum with 24K. That's a midpoint of training. When you get your clean and press program up towards 32K, and you don't want to spend more money on weights, or there's no more weights at your gym, then we would like to work on circles. Circles are in the clean family, but they are not cleans. Normally, people learn this first with a heavy club, because this is what clubs are really good at. They're better at it than kettlebells. You'll notice the club is tiny in diameter. The kettlebell is 3 times bigger, which means you need to have good rotation. Normally, people learn this with the single arm club first. Push, swing, pull, catch. Push, swing, pull, catch. They normally train it for several years. When people are training their front kettlebell clean and press, so the clubs will move this direction, the kettlebells will move this direction, and then eventually you smush them together. The reason people smush them together is clubs don't come up to 32K for the most part. There are a couple of places out there that make monster clubs, but for the most part, they're very hard to get a hold of. Most people need to start this movement with a substantially lighter weight than they can do with a kettlebell. Think 15 pounds for men, 10 pounds for ladies. And they will spend a long time doing it with a club because This type of core control and spinal stress is perfectly natural, 100% human, but because we sit down so much in the modern world, it takes us longer to adapt to it than you could have if you were alive maybe 100 years ago. The most important thing about this exercise is that you rotate 180 degrees. If you're not familiar with these rotations, we have to push straight out to the side, swing straight out to the side, and then pull. If we push forward, which is what most people do in the beginning, they swing the weight directly into one of their knees. Don't do that, that's bad. Start this movement by just swinging this kettlebell from side to side and make sure that you know your movement pattern and you are not going to hit yourself in the knee. Go ahead and look right at it so you can figure out how to do this swing all on its own. The outside circle is going to move away from our center line. Hand moves away from our center line. Rotate without moving your feet. Push, swing, pull, catch. Come back to center. Notice we're using our hips like a clean, but they're rotated. Rotate. Start opposite leg. Push with the leg, just like any type of clean starts with the legs and the hips. Push, absorb force, catch. Catching with that same side leg, stand all the way up. We're creating a spiral with our leg. If we turn our feet out, we're not creating the spiral correctly. We have our feet straight ahead because that is the way you should walk. If you're walking with turnout, that's kind of an adaptation of Western civilization, which goes all the way back to ballet and sitting in chairs. But for the most part, people should not be training turned out with endurance weightlifting. You can do it for barbell and a bunch of other things, but that's because it's not endurance weightlifting. The coaching cues to go outside are push until elbow locks out, turn down. Somewhere across here, our thumb will change directions. The important part is that we don't hit ourselves in the knee with the giant kettlebell. We swing up and then we pull our elbow in and we catch with that flat wrist. Push, swing, pull, catch. Rotate. Push, swing, pull, catch. Rotate across. Push, swing, pull, catch. Rotate across. Push, swing, pull, catch. We're gonna add in a press because our goal is to take the clean and turn it into a clean and press, just one that goes in a weird direction. Rotate. Push, swing, pull. Come back to center. Press. Bring it down, load the rotation. Push, swing, pull, catch, come back to center, load the rotation. Push, swing, pull, catch, come back to center, rotate. Let's change the other hand with a normal kettlebell transition. Down, up, outside, rotate. Push, swing, pull, catch, press, rotate. Push, swing, pull, catch, press, rotate, push, swing, pull, catch, press. When we set it down like a normal kettlebell clean, push it back, and then let it drift out in front. A lot of people will run this as strength training first because this is hard on the core. Think 15-pound club versus 16-kilogram kettlebell, 15 pounds to about 35 pounds. Your goal is to build up to the point where you can do this nonstop with, say, 24 kilograms, about 50 pounds, for 10 minutes nonstop. This is what separates kettlebells from everything else. This useful weight range. Think a useful weight range is 16 to 32K, is 35 pounds to 70 pounds. The goal of getting to 70 pounds is it makes 24 kilogram, your approximately 50-pound weight, something that is your 70%. It means you can move it for long periods of time. 50 pounds has been a useful weight for all of human history. A light loadout for military guys can be 50 pounds, super light. Medium is about 70 pounds. That's why kettlebells weigh what they weigh. If you go back in history and you look at the weight of armor throughout history, you'll find that it tends to sit in the 50 to 70 pound range. That's not a strength training range, that's a strength endurance range. You need to be able to pick up 70 pounds and do a dead sprint for 100 yards with it. So we're building our structure with kettlebells to allow us to endure combat sports, any type of backpacking, any type of blue collar labor, because those weights are useful. They will never stop being useful. So you should work on getting 24 kilograms to move in kettlebell weight nonstop for a minimum 10 minutes. But you're reaching above that. Your goal is 20 minutes nonstop, 30 minutes nonstop, 60 minutes of nonstop movement with a 24 kilogram kettlebell. That is the midpoint of kettlebell training. Your goal is to get to that 24 kilogram, 30 minutes to 60 minutes. If you have been going to the gym for the last 30 years, but you can't do that, set that as a goal and start to work on that idea. You're gonna find that there's a whole new world of training out there inside of endurance weightlifting.